big one, like so here. We are going to go with roll call again. Here.
Bilingual. Rebecca Daly.
Here.
Llc.
Hi.
John Rowe. Emily Hay.
Here.
And Martin. Here. Maria Nunez.
Here.
Llc.
Here.
And Gail here. Laura Simon.
Here.
Edwina Johnson.
Here.
Nicola Bellet.
Here.
Benjamin Wong.
He was here. I think he went to go get some water. Thank you. Okay, I wanted to ask Ben a question. Next on the list is to approve the agenda with the resolutions. Ms. Rivera is here. She's been on the agenda for many months, and she's finally here, so I want to add her so she can hear the resolution, because she's so fabulous, she needs to hear it. And I wasn't sure if Ben had, let me look at 1, 2. Oh, so yeah, we're good. I don't think I have anyone else to add. So motion to approve tonight's agenda with adding Cindy on. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? So moved. And then motion to approve the minutes that Anna sent to us from last month.
Our motion. That is the last.
And I'll second.
Wait, a second.
Edie motion, I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I abstain, as will I.
All right. I didn't even get to say abstain before you interrupted me.
I was
All right, so the LSC resolutions, and Mr. Wong is feigning that he has laryngitis, so I had to read these unless anyone else on the board would like to read these.
I'll, if you don't want to, I'll read, or if you want to read one, I'll read one, or whatever.
It's just a lot of talking.
I'll share the wealth.
All right.
You don't like how it sounds, Ben wrote it though. You want me to go first?
Sure.
I'm gonna take this off just while I read. A resolution of the Lane Tech Local School Counselor honoring our 2021 and 2021/22 city champions for the winter season. Whereas Lane Tech is known as the School of Champions, having a rich century-old tradition of academic and athletic excellence. Whereas the student athletes of Lane Tech continue to exhibit the dedication, sacrifice, teamwork, fair play, and spirit, which are a true hallmark of a champion. Whereas the 2021-2022 winter season produced yet another wealth of city championships for Lane Tech. And whereas each of the following city champions have added their names to and enhanced the legacy of Lane Tech as a school of champions. Now therefore, be it resolved that we, the Lane Tech Local School Council, on behalf of the Lane Tech community, do hereby recognize and commend the following city champions for their outstanding achievement and look with pride to their continued success. Men's varsity wrestling team, Coach Matt Young. Should I read all the names? Yeah.
Are any of this, is there anyone here from wrestling?
Gustavo Diaz, Fernando Lopez, Medea Tilch, Marcelo Valle, Finn Merrill, Ruben Taylor, Patrick Matika, Nomi Marchin, Evan Cole, Aaron Gordon Vera, Kevin Eliza, Jonathan Fan, Orlando Torres, and Elijah Strange. Oh, sorry. And the women's freshman basketball team, coaches Cassidy Barth and Maddie Fleming, Evelyn Blankenship, Gwen Bryan, Georgia Fournier, Maddie Yost, Grace Bush, Duna Krell, Ann Tron, Emily Brew, Michaela Brown, Ariana Portia, Cynthia Walker, Yana Backowitz, Jocelyn Hale, and the varsity boys track and field indoor champions, coaches Pat Bartman, Ed Shallek, Herb Seats, Tony Jones, DJ Vasquez, and Jerry Gonzalez. That's a lot of coaches. Edmund Kennedy, William Archer, Anand Bowman, Sam Oserio, Jack Klein, Elijah Kohler, Francisco Roman, Will Kulowski, Benji Analo, Cam Shaw, Ethan Syetz, Nick Geistrich, Donnell Adams, Hunter Whitney, Romy Steck, Tommy Hunt, Jeremy Gonzalez, Ethan Stein, Abe Ailman, and Owen Lee. And that's the same, yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you. I'll let you take a break and I'll do the next one.
Okay.
Is there anyone here from the academic team?
My friend is on the end.
Well,
We'll
you
talk
can
to you
all
then.
about
I intend to.
a resolution of the Lane Tech Local School Council honoring Lane Tech's academic decathlon team. Whereas Lane Tech is known as the School of Champions, having a rich century-old tradition of academics, athletics, and the arts. Whereas under the guidance of Lane Tech Social Sciences teachers David Campos, the Lane Tech academic decathlon team placed second in the Illinois Academic Decathlon State Championship, hosted virtually by Northeastern Illinois University. Whereas the academic decathlon team also placed second in the CPS City Championship. Whereas the following Lane Tech students helped lead the team to victory: Oscar Tenez, Kayla Tracy, Katiano Nard, Azera Haskovich, I'm sorry if I'm butchering people's names, Elizabeth Chen, Emily Garcia, Carolina Carlos, Rose Brandon, Matthew Polstry, Selena Guzenka, sorry, Selena, Aiden Gaunt, Leona Morena, Jimmy Chow, Anthony Nellis, Ariston Liu, Alana Debates, Erica Randall, Shivani Patel, Coco Jones, Samantha Sereno. Be it resolved that we, the Lane Tech Local School Council, on behalf of the Lane Tech community, do hereby recognize and commend the aforementioned students for their outstanding dedication and achievements and look with pride to their continued success. Adopted this 24th day of March, January 2022. I'll get that back to you.
And a resolution honoring our 2021-2022 state qualifier and place winners for the winter season. Whereas Lane Tech is known as the School of Champions, having a rich century-old tradition of academic and athletic excellence. Whereas the student athletes at Lane Tech continue to exhibit the dedication, sacrifice, teamwork, fair play, and spirit that are true hallmarks of a champion. Whereas the 2021-22 winter season produced yet another wealth of state qualifiers and state place winners for Lane Tech. And whereas each of the following state qualifiers and state place winners have added their names to and enhanced the legacy of Lane Tech as the School of Champions, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Lane Tech Local Student Council, on behalf of the Lane Tech community, do hereby recognize and commend the following state qualifiers and state place winners for their outstanding achievements and look with pride to their continued success. Men's varsity bowling team, first place regionals, Coach Justin Perez, teammates Brian Ray, Matthew Gomez, Christian Rosario, Daniel Esquera, Cameron Hoffman, Jake Cooper, Robert Scretney, I did not know he bowled, and Charles Antelock, adopted on this 24th day of March 2022. Oh, sorry, there are more on the back. Sorry, wrestling state qualifiers and place winners, Neoni Marchand, 5th place in the IHSA Girls State Tournament. Finn Merrill and Nia Lovis. Men's swimming state qualifier, Jacob Galinsky, who's also getting his name on the board on Tuesday because he broke 2 school records in the process. Lane Tech Academic Chess Team, 10th in Illinois in the K-8 State Chess Championship. Gosh, I'm gonna really slaughter that name. I'm sorry, Cannon Krause, Ethan Ding, and Enkin Nauenbauer. And that's it. Thank you.
Did you notice I gave you the ones that?
I know, you gave me the hard
Thanks.
one. Yeah, thanks. I know I was done.
Are Annie, Elizabeth, or Marissa here? Okay. A resolution of the Lane Tech Local School Council honoring Lane Tech's Russian and Ukrainian club presidents. Whereas Lane Tech is known as the School of Champions, having a rich century-old tradition of academics, athletics, and the arts, and making the world a better place. Whereas the students of Lane Tech continue to exhibit lights of hope in coming together and to take care of each other to make a difference in the community. This caring and empathetic spirit is the true hallmark of Lane Tech, of a Lane Tech student. Whereas the Russian-Ukrainian war has taken a heavy toll on Lane Tech's Russian and Ukrainian communities. Whereas during the Lane Tech's International Days and Nights, the Russian and Ukrainian club presidents displayed a united front during the flag ceremony. The Russian club president said, "We will be in the procession, but we will not carry our flag. Instead, we will walk behind the Ukrainian flag and carry a sign that says, 'We stand with Ukraine.'" Getting teary again, sorry. Presidents of the Ukrainian club, Annie Rosenfeld and Elizabeth Walling, and president of the Russian club, Marissa Martinez. Whereas in a world of conflict, our Lane Tech students are being beacons and bright lights in the world, and we look with pride to their continued success. Adopted this 21st day of March 2022. And for any of you that have seen it, have seen the video. All right, now this one, we finally have it here, so I'm coming up with this. You're coming up, ma'am. A resolution of the Lane Tech Local School Council honoring Cynthia Rivera. Whereas Lane Tech is known as having a rich century-old tradition of excellence, and much of it happens behind the scenes. Whereas Lane Tech's supermom, Cynthia Rivera, not only is a Lane Tech alumna, 1989, but a proud mother of two Lane Tech alumni, Gabriella, 19, and Sophia, 21. Where Cynthia joined the Friends of Lane board in 2015 and served as both vice president and chairperson of the school spirit store for 6 years. Whereas Cynthia advocated for teacher grants to fund projects that would otherwise go unfunded, and brought in speakers and presentations to the school to assist parents in managing the social and emotional wellness of teens. Whereas Cynthia made sure the newly admitted students were able to secure their Lane Tech champion hoodies during the pandemic. She packed as much merchandise as her car would fit and moved the online fulfillment store to her basement. Whereas Cynthia was also a champion of the Lane Tech cross country and track teams. She helped start a booster club, coordinated concessions, ordered gear, and organized the best fundraiser ever, getting Coach Roof to cut his long hair. The team raised $500. The team exceeded that goal, and the money was used to purchase new shoes for students in Lane's cluster program. Be it resolved that we, the Lane Tech Local School Council, on behalf of the Lane Tech community, do hereby recognize and commend Cynthia Rivera for her outstanding contributions to the Lane Tech community. Did you already get one?
I'll write it down.
All right.
My complaint is never thank you enough for all that you have done.
And because her daughter graduated during the pandemic, we were not able to thank her enough last year. And Ms. Burrelli really pushed for us to do this year. And it was an easy agreement because she is super mom and friend. So thank you. All right. Moving on. Did anyone sign up for public participation? No. Anyone want to? I forgot to announce it. Lisa, you standing back there?
Nope.
Okay.
She had her job already.
I didn't. Yeah. You didn't have to speak for it though, so.
Good job, Bob Candace. There you go.
And isn't it your anniversary? Aren't you supposed to be out of here?
But yeah, I'm gonna sit here for a while.
All right, thanks. What a dedicated person. Moving on to principal report.
Good evening, everyone. LSC members, I did place the copy of my report in front of you. And as always, I will only provide a truncated synopsis. You can look through the 6 pages on your phone. And it's also included in our website online, so you'll be able to see it when they post the minutes to the website. I just want to highlight a few things, and I'm actually going to include that quick budget review so that I can put it all in one section. And so for those of you all who are new here, I provide a report based on the principal competencies, and there are 5 of them. And then I provide information about what our leaders are doing, what our students are doing, just to give the community an update. So a few things that I'll point out really quickly from the report. One, as you all know, one of our goals this year is to center around equity. And so our grading for equity team this quarter is working on their 4th professional development presentation. Right now, they're examining the current GPA change over time now that they've implemented, and most of the course teams have implemented all of these different practices to help the students have resubmissions and retakes on exams. And so you'll be able to we'll be taking a look at the data to see if the processes that we put in place have actually helped students. And I don't know if the students here feel like it does. They all say yes every time I ask. So they believe that it's helping them. And so if it's helping them, then it works for us. So that's a huge part of competency A. Next, competency B deals with developing powerful professional learning systems. Recently, our students participated in SAT prep courses for the last 2 months. And we have a record-breaking 700 or more students who have participated in either our 3-week sessions or our single-day crash course that was just posted on the 19th, this past Saturday. And so we are very grateful to the teachers who volunteered to come and give their time for 5 hours on Saturday, but also the teachers that stuck it out for the long haul, and the students who got up either to make it here by 7 a.m. or who stayed after school to participate in those courses. And we do offer those courses for free to students. It's covered either internally or through budget that we received from our district. And this year we received OST funding, as everyone knows, and so we utilize that to pay for SAT prep. For competency C, that's all about college and career readiness. So we are currently in the middle of our 3-day virtual college fair. There have been some amazing panels that students have been participating in. And as you all know, and I will say this every meeting, I believe, our college and career coach and our counseling department, they're doing wonderful things. The website is extremely informational, but the attention that they're giving to the students in the college process is phenomenal. This year, we even had a Spanish college virtual panel for parents, and we haven't had that. And so I'm grateful for their work in that. Also, something that's monumental. At this point, 99.3% of all seniors who are not in our cluster program have applied to at least one college already. 90, that's huge for Lane Tech. It's a lot of students. Not just that, but then an additional 87.8% of them have at least applied for 3 or more colleges. For Lane Tech, we haven't hit that mark, not this early in the year. And we haven't even made it to May for some of our students who are going to be making a few last minute decisions. And so I'm really proud of the work that counselors are doing. Right now, they're heavily involved in one-on-one programming sessions with your children. And so they probably have, your children may have talked to you about what classes they're going to take next year. And so I just want to give a shout out to our counseling staff for that work. Competency D talks about empowering and motivating families. Last night we had our day 1 of 2 meet and greets to welcome all incoming freshmen to our building, and the auditorium was packed. And they were excited with smiling faces and cheering, and just give the energy in the building. And I'm pretty sure you probably can remember your first time in Lane's auditorium or at that meet and greet night. There's an energy that, that oozes throughout the hallway that you just can't replicate. And so I am very excited to welcome our incoming families and parents and students. And I know that Ms. Kush, thank you very much, our Friends of Lane president. She was there last night and she spoke to parents, and the school store was open, and
That was packed too.
and it was, I saw the lines. And I'm grateful to all of the staff who stayed because they were here until after 7 o'clock last night. And most of them were right back here this morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning, and that's a sacrifice. So I want to publicly thank them for that. Tara Johnson is our admissions director, and she organizes all of that. She is really serving as the face of admissions for Lane from now until your students actually make it through the door. And then she still helps during that first year. So I'm really appreciative of her hard work because it's not easy, especially as we know some students did not make it in. And that's tough because we also deal with trying to help families navigate through that. So I want to thank her publicly for her work. And then the very last competency is competency E, when it talks about understanding diversity and culture and point of view. So with that said, International Days is a tradition in our building. Last year was the 50th anniversary. And if we didn't have International Days, I think the students would revolt. I believe so. And it existed when I was a student here, and it was just as powerful and it was just as magical. But the core and the reason behind the process is all about educating others about others' cultures, developing tolerance for other people, learning about the history of others. And our students, once again, did not disappoint. They were very grateful, but they were also well behaved during this time. And we actually did it in 2 locations. First time ever. We had the performers in the gym, and they performed for each other. And then we invited classes down to the auditorium because we could not invite everyone to the gym because we're trying to practice as much social distancing as possible. So we felt that would be safer, and we found out that the students actually enjoyed that better. And more students got a chance to see clubs perform during the school day. And so if you've never seen anything related to International Days, I beg of you to go check out YouTube and type in Lane Tech International Days. There is at least one club that will pop up that will interest you. Over the course of the years, I found my old performance from 1996.
Oh my God.
97, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. No, I'm not telling you. No.
That's all you needed to tell that. They'll be emailing themselves before their meeting's over.
See, I'm sure, usually they find my yearbook picture, my graduation picture, first, and they show up in my office with that. But, so that's where we are. So those are the main things. There are a few dates to remember, and I want to share these with you because several of them, some of you may want to be a part. So tomorrow we're hosting our cluster talent show. Our cluster teachers have arranged it, and I get to be a judge, and so I'm extremely excited about this. We actually have other schools who are actually going to come with their cluster students to participate. Our meet and greet, the second night is this Monday from 5 to 7. Our spring play is March 30th through April the 1st. Spring break, which I'm sure everyone who's a staff or student in this building is looking forward to, is April 11th to the 15th. And there's no school April 8th. I wanted to make sure I remind you all of that. So really, students, for them, their spring break really starts April 7th when they come to school. And then parent conferences are the 21st, and then PSAT. PSAT takes place April 19th. That's for freshmen and sophomores. So our juniors and seniors will be out of school that day. It's a non-attendance day. Our SAT took place yesterday, and we tested almost every student. And today was our second day for students who had accommodations, and they were missing very few students despite the traffic. But you know, in first period it was a gamble, but most of them made it to school on time, and we made adjustments for those who could not. So that's in a nutshell. Now, the next part, which I know we all have been waiting for, on this LSC is the budget. So our district released the budget on Friday the 18th, so this past Friday, and I was going to be ambitious enough to prepare everything and have it set to go today. And my boss said, probably have to slow down just a little bit. And I said, okay. And that's because they're still waiting to load additional money and or things that we need. A few months back, I shared with you all that for the last 3 years, we've been staffed at 4,502 students. Well, even during the pandemic, they never changed that funding for us. And so we're right under 4,400, right under that number. And I have asked for an appeal for additional funding so that they will not staff us at 4,386, but instead staff us at least 4,430, because our magic number within the next 2 years is to get to at least 4,450. So that meant that we had a loss of funding, but it won't be as much as it would have been. I have also asked permission to utilize old funding that we've saved in our coffers to cover certain negative balances if we can, to make sure that we can land on our feet without having to cause people to lose their jobs within the building. We do have some retirements that are coming, and we have some people who are moving out of state, and that's going to help us. So our goal is to retain staff, but it's also to maintain choice programming for students. As you all, some of you all spoke about being engineers and lawyers. And when I think about that, I think about the classes that our students get a chance to take here that they may not get to take in other places. Well, that requires additional funding. And so we want to maintain student choice in programming. So that's the context. A few solid numbers are listed on this chart in your sheet. And for your context in the audience, last year Lane was given $26,691,209 for student-based budgeting. And this year we received $26,847,898, which was a surplus of $156,690. So even though we have fewer students, it looks like we gained, right? But the per pupil amount increased. And so since we're seeing that loss in students, we didn't gain as much as we would have. I am, however, very proud to say that our district is trying to help all schools out. They've given a few new things for this year's budget. For instance, any school with at least 1,200 students will receive at least 3 full-time teaching positions or instructional coaching positions to utilize to supplement. That's going to help us drastically. I will be able to move teachers out of our budget so that I can put them in those positions, which will not require us to cut as much stuff. And then also, this is new, we don't have the full details yet, but we know that an athletic director position is going to be provided to schools with at least 300 athletes. And as we know, Lane has 6 times that number. And then there's also going to be funding provided to support released periods for department chairs. What I am not sure of is how much Lane would get if we will qualify yet. I am still waiting for that notation, but that is something that they are offering to schools this year based on an index that they provide. Like I said, I don't have the full details. That's why it says to be determined. And then we will also receive a half of a position for an additional case manager. So Lane Tech has 256 students with IEPs and a little more than 640 students with 504s. But we've only had 2 case managers, and those 2 we have 3, sorry. Those 3 are responsible for taking care of all of those parent meetings, all of the accommodations that go with those IEPs and 504s. Well, our district up to this year, we're only paying for 2, which means we were funding 1. They have decided to give us another half of a position, so we'll just have to fund the other half. That might not sound like a lot to some of you, but for me, it's $80,000. And so I'm very excited. I'm sorry, $60,000. So I'm very excited about that boost. The other large funding piece that we receive is Supplemental Aid, or SA. That's based on the number of students who qualify for free and or reduced lunch. And our percentage of students who qualify for free or reduced lunch has steadily gone down over the last several years. Even from the time that I started as an AP. When I started as an assistant principal back in 2010, that we had more than 60% of our students, or close to, who qualify for free or reduced lunch. And the last calculation I received was around 31%. And so we receive money for each student who qualifies, and that money is supposed to help supplement funds through the waiver process. Well, we're going to lose money there. Last year, we received $1,714,155, and this year we're only receiving $1,596,438. So that's a net loss of $117,717. We've been extremely frugal with our internal accounting, and so even though we do see these losses, I'm really hoping once they provide us with all of our money that we'll be able to move forward and not see drastic cuts at all. I don't anticipate that based on what I've seen so far in the system. And so we will have a PowerPoint for you, and we will have additional documentation for the LSC at that time. But I wanted to provide this context now so that we don't have to have as long of a meeting later, and you will already know what we're coming into the meeting with.
Speaking of which, do we have to set up a special meeting for that?
Yes, we do. And so they are not doing meetings with our network chiefs until next week. And so I would imagine, to be safe, the week of the 4th would be the best time for us to choose a meeting date. That would be the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th. That's that Monday through Thursday. I want to answer the question.
So you don't foresee any staffing cuts at this time? And I know it's not finalized, but.
It's not finalized.
Okay.
I don't see any drastic cuts, but we will have to take away positions where we have retirees.
Okay.
And we will try to do what we can to make sure that we shift students into courses and sections that can fill the current roles of the current staff in our group. Does that make sense? So I can't promise right now because we're also in the middle of programming. So I don't know if there will be a drastic reduction somewhere like in the sort of department, but I can say that our goal is to keep everyone who's here. The other part of that is that you all remember the moving forward grant funds. I usually put it at the bottom of the report. In there, we funded our college and career coach, a community rep. I had also asked you all, could you fund a student advocate position and a security position? That money is no longer available to us right now, as far as we know. And so we've been asked to budget without that in mind. That means that if we want to keep those positions, I have to reassume them within our current budget. That through SBB and SA, without considering moving forward grant funds, because they have shared with us that the budget that we have is what we need to try and work with. And that's it. So that's something under consideration. And my goal is to try to keep those positions to, even though those individuals were all told that it was a one-year position. So none of them are expecting that they're definitely going to have a position, but my goal is to keep them in.
So that moving forward hasn't been officially denied, they're just saying we don't have it yet, or have they officially denied?
We have not got anything on paper that says that. But what we have received, in all fairness, are the 3 positions, teaching or instructional positions, the additional funding to release department chairs, a new
Right, but all from CPS, not from federal funds, so we don't know.
Well, I don't know if they used the federal funds
or not.
to pay for that,
Okay,
and so that's why
so they might have robbed Peter to pay Paul.
I'm pausing because I am really grateful for what we have been given, to be honest with you, because without it, I would be having a different conversation right now.
What's the new SBD number then?
6,106,
So it went up,
about $200.
I mean, I guess it's something, it's more than we've seen in the last summer. And then the athletic director, one more question.
Yes.
So you're saying a full-time position, not a teacher who assumes it on part-time. The athletic director would be a full-time position?
We were told that we were getting a full-time athletic director position for schools with at least 300 athletes. Now, that doesn't mean that a teacher can't apply for that position.
Right,
And if they do apply for that position, they would come out of our traditional budget.
right.
And then if we needed to keep that position open, we would and hire someone for that subject area, if it's a subject area, from where they're pulled. Or if we would have the opportunity to close it or make it part-time, that would allow us to recoup funds. So it all depends on who applies for and who gets the position, but the details behind the position have not been made extremely clear yet.
Okay,
We've just been told, you get it, and that's it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to clarify to everyone who this may be the first time you're hearing these numbers, 26 million seems like a lot of money, but that we get about 1% or less to actually fund anything else besides salaries. So
Absolutely.
the money just goes to fund the salaries, which is why Friends of Lane especially is so important, because we can use those funds in our internal funds with the student fees and everything else to pay for everything else that happens in the building besides our teachers and staff.
And just to be clear, if they give us additional funding based on the appeal that I did, if we get more money, because this is what they've given us based on like 20th day enrollment. If they give us additional money and we have a surplus of some kind, for the first time ever, I would like to ask, I would have put it out there to our staff and our students, and we provide a few guidelines for them to actually talk about how they'd like to see us utilize that money, so that I can come with some of those ideas. And I would also want you all in advance as an LSC, so that you can also consider some ideas. So we've never done that piece. We did it for the moving forward fund, but we've never done it with SBD and SA, because we really never had a chance to.
Right.
I think one year was like $60,000 left over out of a $26 million budget. That's, for Lane Tech, I mean, that's not even a teacher. So, and it's barely a security guard. Yes.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we're gonna talk about this later, because we had, the student reps and I have been making like a student Google form that we've been trying to send out to students to like get student responses. So would you maybe wanna work with me on that and the rest of us, so that we can maybe add that to our next school board today?
Absolutely. But I won't know until they actually give me the money. So
Yeah.
as soon as they do, yes, I will.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. And I just want to kind of go back a little bit to International Days and Nights, to thank you and Miss Hanley and all the teachers.
Rebecca Atwood and Maureen Brown.
Yeah.
Those are the three who manage the whole process.
It's, for those of you who are not familiar with it,
there's a lot of logistics going on, especially those 2 days that it's happening in the school. So, Nikki, do you want to talk really fast before you go? Okay, all right, cool.
So Dave is going to talk, and I think it would be great for everybody to get to know Dave because she's the person behind all of our amazing graphics and all of our advertising campaigns. So,
Okay. All right, thanks.
thank you.
Bye, Cindy. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Cindy.
All right, so, thank you, I just want to publicly say thank you, for Miss Hanlon. It's a long week for her,
And every year she tells me, every year that she does it, we talk about the fact that someone else is gonna have to do it next year. And then the kids make her cry, and because she's so proud of them, and then it's, so next year when we do this. I'm like, yeah, so I really appreciate her, she's a rock star.
yes. All right, PPLC?
We still have our same update from before. It might seem like we're not really doing anything in our meetings, but we actually are. And we just continue to figure out what different schedules might work for our school, but we are still very much so in the investigation phase. So hopefully you'll get a more concrete update sometime in the near future, but it's been very exciting.
And they are working, I've been at their meetings, every one of them, and they're working hard.
Yes, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the limited recording.
Our investigation is
It is,
smooth
absolutely.
moving.
Investigation.
Watching grass grow slower than grass grows. So. Student report?
Yes, hello. For those of you who don't know, I'm Alia. I'm one of the student reps, along with Leon and Sean. So first of all, just to reiterate a couple of things that Mr. Thompson said yesterday and today for some students was the SAT. I am a junior myself, so I took the SAT. It was a long day, very stressful, but we've all come out of it. We've all come through it, so that's very exciting. Also, next week opens the spring play. It is the Ghost in the Rhyme. I've actually heard tell that possibly, not sure if this is completely true, but possibly the playwright might be coming. I was just observed a little bit of one of the tech rehearsals, so everyone's working super hard. This is the Freshmen and the LTAC students, directed by Ms. Allen with Mr. Davey, supervising the stage crew, which this time is headed by Rocky Mazorsky, and Grace Forey is a student helping Ms. Allen direct, and there are all of the different kids. I've seen a lot of the 8th graders, and they're all so super excited. So if you could all get tickets, that would be really great. Tickets are $10 for people without a Lane ID. For students with a Lane ID, they are $5. It will take place in the auditorium, so like right over there. There are the typical show dates, so we have Wednesday and Thursday, 3:45, and Friday and Saturday. So it was also see that. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. I'm very excited. So this is a very new thing that I don't think we brought up before, but as I was perusing my student news one day, I came upon a petition which was submitted by several freshman students about gender-neutral locker rooms. So for those of you who don't know, in Gym 3, there is currently an unused locker room. It used to be a girls' locker room, but I believe when there were like gym renovations in, I think, 2018, that locker room, since then, the locker room has been lost and closed because they sort of cut the boys' locker room in half and made it into whatever. Point is, there is a current unused locker room that people have discussed treating as bleachers or some other type of learning space. And these freshmen noticed this and put forth a petition to have it instead converted into a gender-neutral changing space, which is super important to helping provide equity and making trans and non-binary students feel safe. Their petition accrued over 200 signatures, which is pretty impressive because I know not a lot of people read the student news, so a lot of people feel like this is a pretty important thing. I myself am non-binary, so it was really amazing to see these gender freshmen sort of taking initiative and trying to talk about something that was important to them. I've been actually reaching one of them through email, trying to figure this out. I don't know how this would work with budgeting. I don't know what the next steps forward were, but I wanted to bring this before the LSC. Also one of the student I was communicating with also wanted me to mention that if we are not able to have this become a gender neutral changing space with the trans and non-binary students, that it would help to sort of try to pursue some, if there's any alternative solutions, so that there can be a place where these students can feel safe and included, because I know that changing can be a very stressful time for anyone before gym class, much less if you know you're trans and non-binary.
I can
So
speak to that.
yeah,
So that space actually has already been earmarked as the new mezzanine space. But I did a walk through the building, and so we're trying to find a different space for that purpose. And so when I say this, we've looked at, there are some locker room spaces that are kind of sectioned off, where there can be additions of kind of privacy spaces, and we need students to be in areas where a teacher can actually get to and monitor. That's the other difficult part with having something like that in gym 3. And that's one of the reasons why they shut it down, because it can't be monitored. And so we have definitely been looking at those spaces. I spoke with our building operations manager, Mr. Renee Louise. And so we've tried to identify a few options, and so I'll be able to talk to you about that too.
cool.
Okay?
Thank you. And I will definitely report that back. I've been emailing with the student, and I really appreciate the concern on the matter. Moving on, we tried for first time to submit a survey to different students, to the student news, which I have already said people don't read as much. So we didn't get as many responses as we would like, and there's not a whole lot of like relevant data coming from here, but I did actually ask about the gender neutral changing space in the survey with a pretty positive response from most of the students. A couple of one student was actually, and I think that this is important to note, was worried that some cisgender students were going to like abuse the space to make the trans students feel comfortable, and I think that is actually an important concern to bring up if we do end up moving forward with this. And as just a kind of general thing, talking about that students have concerns, some of the concerns definitely are not anything that the LSC has jurisdiction over. But I did have one student who was still concerned about the symbol selection issue, and said that a lot of the people we've talked to are not infused with the symbol options, and that they feel like students are pretty far removed from the process. So I think that's, I'm not sure what we would be able to do about that, but at least that's a relevant concern that the LSC has some power over. So I think that that's just something important to bring to the table.
So the LSC no longer
Yeah.
goes with the symbol.
Oh, never mind. Well,
But I will speak to that though.
Yeah.
The students actually were the ones, the process was open for them for a very long time. And so this was, what, 2 years ago?
Last spring. It was last spring.
So it was open to them and to submit ideas, and not just them, but also the community. So they did have quite a bit of time to do that. As far as the choices, they looked with the choices that were most highly selected. And Sean is actually, well, I didn't want to say that. You sure?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so we took majorities, responses to get bison, lightning, Untitled champions, bison, lightning, owls, and then a no symbol option as well. We took one that really appealed to all groups. The alumni mainly chose on the party of champions, and then a lot of students varied from lightning to bison. We did have to eliminate a few of them. I don't know what that felt bad. But as Ms. Thompson said, we did have a lot of students that had a lot of time to submit a response as well. And much of this data is from, we asked students as well, what are you a student, alumni? Everyone that's the students were represented in this process, and the Google form closes in a little bit, so I think we still need to send that out there and make sure we else.
Well, and so then is this the final survey? or-
No.
Okay, so then,
We reopened the whole process.
So, yeah.
okay, so that's right, don't students get the.
yeah.
So
I'm just recording my phone.
Yep.
So,
what-
thank you.
what's gonna happen with that is, This form was sent out to all alumni, community members, teachers, staff, and students. It's going to close in 2 weeks, I think. So we're going to take like the top 2 responses based on what everyone's responded to. And then by May or March or April, we'll send out another one to only the students with the top 2 responses, and we should have a simple announced by June 1st.
Awesome.
For our next topic, we're going to move on to student council and report into what I was supposed to talk about. I just want to come back to the I-Days. I know that students on the executive committee also helped run everything, and they were amazing.
And so did stage 3. They were, yeah.
Stage 3, yes. As for last week, we had our SAT, or the juniors had the SAT yesterday, so the juniors organized a fundraiser. It was called Smarties for Smarties. So you could come in and buy 2 Smarties for whatever junior, and they turn them into them during the first period just to get motivation. And then you did know juniors.
With the class of 2024, the class of 2024 is actually partnering with the Greatest Grants Club here at Lake Tech. And they're going to be doing a spring socks, underwear, and pants drive where we will be collecting new socks, new underwear, and pajamas that are about new or in good condition. There's donation boxes at door M, the front office, room 251, and my room 256 as well if you're interested in donating. The trash problem at Lake, like the weather's getting warmer again, students are being reminded constantly by admin and student council to keep the lawns clean. So far from the day that was like 70 degrees, the lawn looked really nice and I was very happy about it. And then on March 12th, Lane's Tech Science Olympiad team competed in the CPS Regionals Tournament. Lane actually took home second place, and we beat longtime rival Walter Page, and we're just 5 points away from overtaking Whitney on for first.
My daughter's on time Olympia, but.
As a result, Lane was qualified for the state tournament in April.
Yay!
That's awesome.
And then that's our report.
Thank you. My goodness. You skipped principal.
Yeah, I've got, yes. Principal, Dana.
All right, awesome.
Why don't you come up here so we can work better? I run Dana better.
All right, so talking about money, we're still in our annual appeal, and to date, we have raised over $356,000 and still going. We are selling yard signs in the Student Spirit Store for graduating seniors and LTAC 8th grade graduation.
But you have to order it
You need to order them online by April 8th. It's a pre-order. The proceeds from the senior signs are going to help with the decorations for prom. The gala is coming up, the Green and Gold Gala on May 6th at Rockwell on the River. More information, tickets is on the friendsoflane.org website. We are going to need lots of volunteers as well, and we are still collecting donations for the auction.
Especially tickets, like it.
Sports tickets, so we need, if you have baseball tickets, football tickets, or a season ticket holder, that's a big part of our auction every year, and we literally have nothing. So, no tickets, I should say, we have many items, but we have no tickets. So vacation homes and sports tickets are super, super, big. We're trolling along and Dana's doing lovely social media posts to do it, but we still need quite a few items. With a community this big, we try to have 500 auction items, and we've got a little bit of ways to go for that.
What's the drop date on that?
April 26th is when the auction goes live, so the week before. So I will take it at 8 o'clock in the morning on April 26th. Even actually while it's open, we can pop it in the Bidding for Good site, but preferably before April 26th. 26th. Thank you.
All right, moving on. The new student meet and greet, if anyone wants to volunteer to help on Monday the 28th, we're still looking for volunteers to help greet and to work in the store. And then we are Friends of Lane is giving away yard signs to all the new students as well, the proud Lane family signs. Friends of Lane has approved funding for some school projects, including driver's ed simulators, the new sound system for the auditorium, very excited. And we just approved funding to help repairs maintain the clock tower.
Oh, good.
The clock itself. We have a couple of community meetings coming up. The April one is the college parent panel, and it will be on April 6th. It will be on Zoom, 7 o'clock. And then on May 4th is Demystifying the Common App, also on Zoom. See, we have Teacher Appreciation Week coming up, and on May 3rd, we will be doing an ice cream social for the staff. So we're looking for volunteers for that as well. And then we're going to do a guest bartending night at Commonwealth, right down the street. That will be on Thursday, March 31st from 7 to 9 p.m. Tickets are $30 for 2 hours of open bar. There will be teachers and coaches bartending. So all of the tips will go to the programs, the teachers, coach, or their classroom projects. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Alumni Association has their meeting on the same night as we do, so that's why Michelle has not been here to do the reports, but she did send one in for me. So now I feel very split personalities today, but still. Now I'm Michelle, and once again, the LTAA's board meeting is the same night as the LSC meeting. So please accept this update to be read in the meeting minutes. Greetings from the Lane Tech Alumni Association. I'll forward it to you. We have a few items of interest to report on. The LTAA Innovation Grant Program wrapped in February with a total of $23,000 awarded to the creative and dedicated faculty of Lane and their deserving students. We were delighted to attend the Robot Reveal last week, just one of this year's grant program recipients. The 2022 scholarship season is about to launch, and the LTAA is busy behind the scenes setting up our digital application portal. We are hoping to reach the $200,000 mark this year, including 2 new scholarships. One for students planning on attending DePaul University, and another in memory of Sean Masura, 2016, who died unexpectedly in Thailand in 2019. And after 2 years of consensus building work, we were thrilled to punctuate Black History Month 2022 with the news that the field at Lane Stadium will be named after and dedicated to trailblazer Frederick Douglass Fritz Pollard from the class of 1912. Thank you to Principal Thompson and the LSC for their endorsement of the project. Work is underway to design and fundraise for commemorative elements at the stadium and to support a dedication program this fall. Lastly, our Next Gen Advisory Council is launching in April, and we still have 2 auxiliary board seats to fill. We are looking for alumni candidates ages 21 to 30 years who are ready to contribute their talents to the Lane community and develop leadership skills that will help build their character and their resumes. Direct any interested candidates to lanetechalumni@gmail.com. Respectfully submitted, Michelle Weiner, 76, President LTAA. All right. On to new business. Dee Dee?
Yes. So I'm gonna pretend to Jill.
You can be personality.
I guess purchase orders is what we're going to go over. ATI physical therapy, $11,666.67. Athletic training for spring sports. BSN Sports, $15,260, football team game and practice jersey bottoms. Pro Biz Products, $36,817, PE uniforms for the 2022-2023 school year. BSN Sports, $17,854.80, new helmets for boys lacrosse. Fisher Scientific, $51,084.29, lab supplies for all science courses and additional lab supplies for the new science lab put in last school year. JOS Services, $23,310, plumbing work for men and women's staff bathrooms. CDW, $70,000, $364, new projects and install for 100 classrooms. Ranger at $20,949.29, combination locks for the 22-23 school year and additional for throughout the school year. Buckeye Construction, $11,730, classroom, 143 stair platform removals. Courtesy Electric, $24,500, room 140, electric relocation to room 146. Bedford, Freeman and Work, $56,775.60, AP World Textbooks. Goodhart Wilcox Publisher, $20,829.78, health textbooks. And then for fundraisers.
All right, let's,
So sorry, yes.
and I had, when Jill sent these out, I emailed her some questions and I never got answered. So maybe this time I know that last year, and I don't remember what the number was, but I know that last year we bought a ton of locks because we had to lock all of the lockers during the summer, which we've never done before.
It was like $70,000.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask.
So is this just for the incoming students for next year, and is that covered by student fees or what?
That's covered by students, so they pay for their,
It's
most,
just-
so all
so much money on locks.
freshmen, if you consider it freshman, buy 2 locks. And those locks are very expensive.
Okay.
They're costing us quite a bit.
In the 70,000, the 75 blocks, those were red. They're like
Yeah,
different.
yeah, these are
like
nice.
for the summer.
Safety, security.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
No, sure, so that would be covered by, like, the students, they will purchase these locks. This will not come off of any kind of budget. Well, it says a budget line, but that comes.
Right, but then it's
Yes.
The football uniforms, is that fees, sports fees? Or
That
is
is not.
Yeah, how does that work? I feel like some sports teams buy their own uniforms for clubs and fundraisers, others currently get.
So this is how it works. If the uniforms are going to belong to the school, we purchase them. If they're going to keep their own uniforms, they purchase them. And so what I said to coaches this year, like way back when, in the summer, when I first met with fall coaches, if you need something, let us know. If we don't know, we can't do anything about it. And uniforms are something that we can purchase, but we don't pull this from that $100 fee. We will purchase it, but it belongs to Lane Tech. So anything that we buy, it stays here.
That's why a lot of the, like, you buy your practice jersey or something.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
it's
you
like
get
some
the
teams have very
uniform that you
robust
return.
booster clubs with one of the uniforms and others. I'm just curious how it works.
Yeah, no, that's how it works. And some people don't want to buy uniforms that have to be returned. You know, others are fine with that, but some people do not want that. For instance, for the first time ever, and I didn't see it on here, but, it actually is on there. The lacrosse team, the boys lacrosse team has been wearing their own personal helmets for years.
That are very expensive.
They are.
So it would inhibit kids from trying out because you're gonna try out and buy a $300 helmet.
Right. And so we're going, and so I told them, if we need helmets, we need to buy them because they also have to be conditioned. And we're supposed to monitor the safety behind those helmets, which is also a cost. And so that's really something that the school should own for safety purposes, just like football helmets. They're very expensive, but they have the shock therapy in there, anti-concussion padding, all of that stuff is important, and that reconditioning happens on a cycle. And so when the cycle comes up, we'll have to ask for money to pay for it, but athletics, there are fees that are paid, and so some of this stuff can come out of athletics. But anything that's purchased, uniform, helmet, items, materials, it belongs to Lane, and that's just it.
And then I'm just wondering, curious about textbooks. Like now that everyone has a Chromebook, are we moving away from textbooks so they can be updated, or
Well,
do we have to?
most do not
Okay.
have, most course teams, like a lot of humanities, a lot of them do not have textbooks. They use, like English, most of them use novels. But there are some course teams that actually do desire to have a physical copy of a textbook in a classroom. So, and then what we're finding is that for some companies, it's the same price for the physical or for the one that you have online, but sometimes the ones online, you only get the license for so many years as opposed to having the actual physical textbook. So a lot of teachers have moved towards class saying, hey, you can have a class set of this particular text.
And I was gonna add that, College Board requires us to have textbooks for all of our social science classes. When you sign up and agree to teach the course, they give you a list of the approved textbooks and to say that you are going to be accompanying your course with
I
that.
personally like books better too. I don't like reading them.
And it does,
But a lot of people have asked me that, so
And the textbook, it can be on, it is a good question, and it can be online, or it can be a physical copy. Right now, the social process that Mrs. O'Keefe generously helped us to kind of work through, and it's an ongoing process. So students cannot even use an online textbook. I don't know if you all remember this, we went through this in the fall for AP Human Geo. We were told that we could purchase the online books, and then we found out they were not SOFA approved, even though we were told that they were, so then the students couldn't access the online book, only the physical, hard copy textbook. And so there's a lot of red tape that goes behind because of student price. So that's one of the other reasons, yes.
How does the textbook situation also work with, and I'm only a student, so I don't know everything that's not behind the scenes. But for the last 3 years in my social science classes, so that would be AP US Government and AP Psychology, I have been using textbooks that I had to find on my own that were not provided by the school, although we were still using them, we've been using in AP US History and AP Government, we use the AMSCO textbooks. And I believe, I don't remember correctly, but I know also that this year I got an AP Psychology textbook from the school that we have not used the entire year. Instead, my teachers favored the variance book. So how does that also work within that, knowing that some of the books, even the ones that we're getting from school at Quick Start, are not really being used as much in actual instruction?
In all honesty, it's up to the actual teacher. The classroom teacher gets the choice. Some teachers do prefer to go through the textbook step by step, and some, because it's AP, there are all of these crash course books that exist, or the test prep books, and they feel like that's a better resource. And so teachers get autonomy in that choice, whether or not they want to utilize that text or not. So we have you all to pick up the textbooks because they need to leave the lunchroom, but a teacher might very well say, I'm not going to use that text, I have some additional materials, and then they're allowed to do so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? I motion to approve all 12 of the purchase orders.
I'll second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? So moved.
And I have 2 fundraisers. The Late Tech Guitar Booster, guitar concert tickets for March 30th through April 20th through Mr. Sweet. And the Late Tech Baseball Booster online platform fundraiser using We Fund for You, March 12th through April 2nd. Mr. Freeman, or Ms. Freeman, sorry.
Thank you.
That's a new platform that we fund for you, huh? I've never heard of that
Yeah,
before.
This must be so good.
I know, right?
I motion to approve these fundraisers.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? So moved. Right, and then I believe, as we were saying earlier, with budget, there's a lot of money here that we have to come up with in fundraising. So, this is not, these are usually not funded by the money that CPS gives us in the budget. We have done the budget review.
Did we set a date?
No, we didn't, so, for the budget. So, yes, let's do that. So the week of April 4th, you said? Yeah.
Yeah, she just said the Friends of Lane was on the sixth. I don't know if anybody else is fine with us doing it like maybe earlier that day, like 6 o'clock. Because it's on, Friends of Lane is at 7. I have to do both. But
It's not the 4th.
Friends of Lane is on that Wednesday, right?
It's a Wednesday.
That's
Wednesday the
The
6th.
6th, okay. I know Marine Keepers actually likes Wednesdays. So,
but a little bit earlier. So if we did it at 6, Friends of Lane, I go every Friends of Lane meeting, but then I could just knock both out of me the same night,
okay, but Friends of Lane is,
the 6th.
right, but that's virtual.
Yes.
Okay.
So I make a motion on that one, reading that. I may have tried to speak at like 2 months ago.
Okay. Does it work for other people?
We say the 6th.
The 6th, the 6th and 6th, yes, on the 6th.
That doesn't work for me, I'm sorry. There's no other day we're saying, oh, wait, are we saying April 6th, yes?
Yes.
Oh, then no, I can't do that.
What about either any day that we could work. I'm afraid of Monday because I don't know if everything will be finalized next week. With our money actually fully appearing. So that's why I kind of strayed away from Monday.
The 6th is the only day I can't do. I'm sorry, but if everyone else can, just go ahead without me.
So the 7th is that Thursday?
And that's the date.
That's the day of break for you all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I don't know, it would work better for me personally.
When did you say that you're leaving in?
No, I'm not leaving. I mean, I actually have my brother's going in town and I can. I know, whatever.
Fend for himself, really.
Yes. My niece is actually going to be college in Chicago.
You want to blink twice or what? Just wonder if the 6th works for you? Does the 7th? Okay. Just checking.
The 6th and the 7th.
Do not work for you, neither of them.
What about the 5th? That's that Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do the 5th also. That doesn't work for, I don't think there's any way we're gonna get it.
When do we have to approve by?
The Monday after spring break.
Oh, so we have to do it that week.
That's why I was saying that week
Yeah.
is like our last,
Yeah,
unless we do it the day before, which would be the 18th, which is the Monday after spring break.
Would it be for sure finalized by the Tuesday as well?
yeah, that was gonna be my thing, like doing it on a Tuesday.
How on earth, with spring break right there, can they expect us to meet to review it?
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, there's just.
But we could do the 18th,
I could do the 18th.
Yeah, but
but we could it's due that day, we have to submit that day, or it's,
I'd have to hand it over on, by no later than Tuesday morning, bright and early. But we have to, I meet with with our network this coming week, so.
In some ways, it'd be easier for me to do the 18th, not that my schedule should be the deciding factor. I just like that week right before spring break is kind of crazy right now.
What about you, Ms. Bailey?
Everyone, the 18th is tax day.
Thanks. The other option, I mean, is possibly next Thursday. I don't know how you all feel about that, because I can push to meet like Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if stuff will be there,
I feel like that's. When you were saying you did Monday, I feel like that's putting too much on you. If we don't have all the information. That's
You
usually.
might not have all the information.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I could, well, what we could do is, we
Does
could,
that 18th work?
The 18th of April?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can do the 18th.
All right, that seems to work. Do you want to do it at 6 or 6:30? Can people make it? Is it hard for?
you want me yours?
I won't be able to make it at all on the 18th, but I'm, one person,
Well,
so.
yeah.
Do you want me to send out a doodle?
Can you do that? Can we do that? Can we vote, do we need to vote?
No,
No.
You have to vote.
I think we have to vote first.
Okay.
So going back to the 6th, who can't go on the 6th? You and we, and
That's
the
a
three of us.
Wednesday.
That's a Wednesday.
Wednesday the sixth
And you're iffy.
and the seventh.
7th I can do, I have people on.
No, put your hand down. 7th you can't, okay.
Oh, will they do the 7th?
What about the
Before they can't go.
Well, the 5th you're questioning, right, whether you'll have everything by then, right?
I'm supposed to meet with my chief early next week. So
Okay.
I believe I could have everything by the fifth.
Okay,
I was questioning next week Tuesday.
okay. So the 5th, anyone who can't, raise your hand if you can't on the 5th. Okay, so either way, we're missing someone, so,
Do we all need to be present?
no,
No,
we just need to have
this is
four.
wrong. And actually, if we have a forum here, we can, the people who are not here, but let's participate remotely. Like that, I could be, then I could do this thing.
Yeah, because we can.
As long as you have a physical forum, then other people can.
I just feel like the teachers should be the priority for being here for the budget. Because it affects your lives really more than any of us, so.
And I can share, I'm going to be doing a staff budget presentation too. Giving them the opportunity to see what our budget looks like and really talking to them about the process, which we haven't done before. But I want to provide that information to them this year, so. But I will also be sharing, the presentation in advance. And I'll also make sure that you all have the documents so you can look over it before we even come here. So you'll be able to come with questions, so. So you all will definitely, even if you're not here, you'll still have access to the information and be able to ask questions.
So Laura, what did?
So we had, so the 7th was only you, Rebecca, right?
That's correct.
So the 7th is the one that we have the majority of people coming. The 6th, there were 3 of us, and then the 5th, there were 3 of us. So I think that the 7th makes the most sense.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Bailey.
Sure, you know,
All right,
So we do that.
so it's 6 o'clock.
So 6 PM on the 7th.
Okay.
So it's the 7th.
I make a motion to have a special budget meeting, is it a special meeting?
Yeah.
A special budget meeting at 6 PM on April 7th.
I'll second you.
All in favor, thank you.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? So moved.
Is there gonna be a reminder sent out for this? I'll probably forget it.
Yeah, well, okay. So, / community survey. For the 6 years that I've been on the LSC, we have done a community survey at the same time that we have done the principal evaluation. The principal evaluation, as Ms. Thompson said earlier, is on these priorities that she puts in her report. With Julie Kaufman, who'd been on the LSC, who vice president for a company that does these type of things, came up with a survey she'd done with Bell also. Some of us, I sent it out to some people to tweak it a little bit this year since we have a new principal. We thought there were a lot of questions about homework over spring break and winter break and summer, and we've taken care of that and moved on. So we tweaked it, and in the past, there's always been a lot of comments about our counseling department, and so we added those in to the community survey. So, and I sent everyone, I hope you're working. I've had so many problems Google Docs lately. Then some people release things.
I'm always like, do not touch. I'm going to leave like a whole section and manually type it back in. Please show it.
So, but it's, when we're doing the questions that we send out to the parents and to the teachers, the teacher comments do help us just because it's hard for two teachers to represent. We just had no idea what goes on in the school all the time. So that helps give us feedback and the things that we need to focus on. In the 6 years we've been doing this, I've heard students, especially my own children, complain that the students are frustrated that they don't really have voice, but you all have started a little survey. And so I was thinking it'd be nice to do a survey of the students too for the community, especially post-COVID. There's so much sort of chaos and people trying to figure out how things work again when students haven't been in the building for 2 years and half of their high school lives. So, yes.
Well, I do know that we do student surveys, right, every 5 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that, and I just don't want to survey people to, but we can get that data. I'm saying that we should use that data.
Okay.
That might just help us move things along a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Would there be a way to like specifically like to note that it was going to be used for LSC purposes so that, I don't know, I think so that students will, I think that just so that students know what they're like, what it's going to be used for, because I run those surveys this whole year and I had no idea like what the point was. So I think it would also be helpful if we were to like use those advisory services to, mark something down like this is, it's used for the LSC and this and that.
Okay.
So they weren't developed for the LSC, but they can be used for.
If we are using them.
Okay.
Because it does capture a lot of student data. Good questions, so.
Okay, that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able, we can't share the student names, we can share.
Yeah, we don't share the names for.
We can do that.
I would just wonder, like, that it would be a similar, I just know, like, if teachers were just getting a whole nother survey and other questions, like, teachers get surveys all the time, and for them to do it with sincerity, just like if you got a survey, with the same thing, if you're already doing it once, how much you're gonna pour into doing it again, that's all we really.
Overload, survey
Yes,
overload.
exactly.
I think that's great. I had heard that survey and I forgotten about it. So what types of questions are, so again, with the students, we added some of the questions about the counseling department for specifically college and career and programming. And because those have been the
biggest parent concerns that we've heard over the years. So I don't know what.
No, it doesn't dive into those questions.
Yeah, so what are they?
Trusted adults, it talks about support in the building, and
So a basic question.
yeah.
And we have the climate stuff. So that's fine with me, one less survey. Other feelings? What do you guys find?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I mean, I like it, it's fine for the administration, that makes me more comfortable in terms of like getting student data that way.
Okay, and then maybe, when does the next one go out?
It's today's date.
24th.
Today's the 24th, the progress report. I'll get you the date.
Okay, but so maybe we could I could write a quick little note to say this one might help. This one's going to, the LSC is going to look at this data, so please fill it out. Okay, and then,
May I ask a question? We can also look at it to see if there are some additional things, like you mentioned college and career. So if somebody would like to share with me some of the things that you all have considered, we could also, we could add a question or two. I want them to actually do it, so we have to make sure
right,
that it's not too long, because then they, kind of.
no, I'll send it.
So just add like those counselor questions for that 1 5-week survey, and then,
Yeah.
Now, the only problem though, not problem, the concern is that sometimes when we name specific departments, sometimes adults will target it by that if they are the only ones listed. And so I don't want to set that kind of scenario up. So I think we have to be very strategic and not like ask about a counselor, but we can ask about a college.
Right, no, that's what we,
Does that make sense?
and those are the questions are not about, it is about your college readiness, your programming ability. It's not asking about specific counselor, it's your experience in this area.
yeah, yes, so I will send you those.
Okay.
And, so we will have to meet, and I don't know what you all think, about the time. So in the past, we haven't had to do the principal evaluation until May or June. And then I got on the DOT website this week, and we can extend it, but technically it's due at the end of this month. So, yeah.
I know, it's extended.
It's extended.
Yes, let's extend it.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so, but I don't, because we can still fill out our own, so how this process works for everyone who's new on this, we send out the survey that or not survey, but the actual rubric. I send everyone, I think, the rubric, but we have to fill it out. We rate 1 through 4, and then we have to come together and go through, because you can't put any fractions in. And so we meet in a closed session to discuss the numbers that we enter. So since we all are going to be meeting on the 7th for the budget, do we want to go through our private meeting after that? Or do we want to, I'm concerned about doing it on the 21st, just because that's going to be a really long day, because it's conferences for teachers and for those of us volunteering in the store. Like, that's already going to be a really long day, and we might have to wait for some election results, or do we want to have another special meeting, or,
Just going back to teacher voice, I don't think we should do it without both teachers present.
So let's go back to
we
the
have to pick a different day.
Not to like reopen a can of worms. What about the 18th? We thrown out the 18th, I think, then I think you were not available. Is that right, on the 18th? You're not available, right? All right. Somebody wasn't available on the 18th.
Are you writing down thumbs up?
Available on the 18th. That was me.
Oh,
The students don't go for principal, the students don't go into closed session for principal evaluation. So if they can't come, then you can.
And that works. Could we move budget to the 18th and do both of them on the 18th, or is that too late for budget? We didn't need to do that, okay, you said, or you put that by the next morning.
It's due by the next morning, but I'm fine with that, but I'm fine with that. I would just, we would just have to do budget first.
Right, and then.
And then because I agree, we need the teachers here for that. For sure,
Okay,
both of them.
so,
Sorry, everyone.
so how do we have the motion to change?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna motion that we change the special budget meeting from April 7th to April 18th, 2022, and include or add to that a special meeting for principal evaluation.
Where we go into closed session.
Where we go into closed session for principal evaluation, okay?
So starting at 6.
Starting at
Sure,
6 p.m.
because it's a long, it's between the budget and this, it'll be a long night.
And then the other long night is that Thursday.
Yeah.
Because the LSC meeting is that Thursday.
Yeah.
That might be.
All right, I will second that. All in favor? Aye.
Sorry.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay. So when do we, for the parent and the teacher surveys, I know that the symbol survey just went out. So do we want, but we gotta do it before the break, so we can look at it. So, what do you all suggest as far as?
When does the symbol close?
The first survey,
I'm sorry, the first?
first or second survey.
The ones that's going on right now.
On, April 19th, 2022.
Oh, okay. So do we want to put it out on Monday, the 4th, and then close it on Friday, the 8th?
Perfect.
Yep, sounds great. Yeah, the 8th is a non-school day, but that, we'll give people a reminder that they can do it.
We need to do that or not?
We can do that,
I don't know.
yeah. Probably better safe than sorry.
So it's a motion to submit
Open the parent
open
and,
parent and staff teacher surveys on Monday, April 4th, and close them on Friday, April 8th for input regarding the teacher evaluation.
So we'll say 8 a.m. open and close at 5 p.m. on,
let's do it a little later, so.
Close at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
8 p.m.? Okay.
Just so people forget to do it during their work day.
Yeah.
Got time. And then, I know Patricia.
I did the motion, I don't know.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? So moved. And I know in the past, usually Ms. Whitaker did a lot of the stuff, but I also know that Patricia and Laura, you both have compiled this sort of information before. Does anyone want to do that this time?
Oh, I thought I already was.
So yes, I'll do it.
Okay, fabulous.
I'll help you, all right.
And I can do the stuff that Katie did, because, Katie did, I'm really tired. Because she put the formulas in, so I will send out our evaluation at that time too. For just all of us. Yeah, just the LSC. Yeah. So that we can not have to worry about that over spring break and then have all that information for us on the 18th. Whew. All right, anything else that needs to be said about this? All right, it'll be fun.
Well, I don't know if you want me as abstain, but I didn't vote at all.
Okay,
This is my evaluation.
right, but it's the process of it, so, you know. Okay, so, I just put in old business because, you know, for the calendar, we talked about it last month's meeting, and if you all have not heard, CBS did decide, the board decided on the calendar for next year, and, school will be starting earlier,
August 22nd.
August 22nd.
Which
So
means
one week or student Thanksgiving.
You're right, Ms. Daly. You are right to point that out. Teachers will most likely begin that week before, but there is a schedule that they get to vote on to determine how they want to use their PD days, and if they're gonna come back for a full 5 days or 3 days. And then clerks come back even before that. So they will be back by the second week of August.
Oh, this?
Yes.
Like, it's no different.
So,
I'm here all summer.
it's tough right now, and I know it is. I understand. But I am excited that we will finish before winter break so that kids can actually break. Because even though we say no work over break, I know what that means. I'm just being honest with you. But not just for kids, for teachers too. And I remember like thinking of that time, like, okay, I get 2 weeks to like just get all the stuff done regarding grading that I could not get done earlier. And so you end up working and really not disconnecting. And so, and the 1 week over Thanksgiving is a huge.
Is when you'll be working and doing all those papers like you would have been doing over Christmas.
But we conferences with them.
They're supposed to be that Monday, and it's for 1 week, it's for 1 day, both combined. But right now, it's a hybrid. Parent-teacher conferences are the Monday of that Thanksgiving.
The teachers have to work.
That is so silly. I didn't realize that, but who's gonna, anyway.
But
If they're hybrid.
it's hybrid, so then they can do it from home, you know, so that's, which is different. And I believe that they're going to possibly keep that same format, or we're hoping that they do. And they will get out. Graduation may just actually occur.
In May?
That's what I
Yeah,
Wow.
because the school's closed, right? So you would do them
No, the
from
school's
home.
not closed, the teachers, I think, that Monday,
The teachers do the conferences from school.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
but it's hybrid,
But it's
some
hybrid.
parents can go in person.
Oh, you're right, okay.
Yeah, grandma's house, they can do it virtually.
So you don't get.
I can't be in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Right.
But Tuesday you can.
Yeah. And then we've already given that update. Yes, ma'am?
Ma'am. I know that the survey's out there. Malik, I got it. I saw the survey on Facebook and I saw it on the website. I have not received an email with the simple survey.
I did not either.
Okay, so it didn't go out. The parents have not gotten it yet.
Okay, I'll.
It did, some parents did though, which is weird. I didn't get it either, Lisa, but my husband did.
I thought it was the student survey.
My mom also got it. That helps anyway.
We'll just resend it.
And, did you fix the spelling error? For like?
Sarah, Miss Sammy fixed it like within a second. As soon as she hit send, she's like, oh no, and she changed it. She was in my office when she did it, so
Got it.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
There was a
one
very-
second.
Very funny comment.
Oh, I saw it. I'm like, 1 second, you are just that fast. She couldn't even get the words out or the delete button work quick enough. So, but that's fine.
So if you did not receive it, you can go to the website, to the Lane Tech website and get it. And it is open until the 19th, did you say, Sean?
Oh, it's the 19th.
Of April.
Okay, April 19th. Okay.
Okay, fabulous. Going on to announcements, just a reminder that, I'll give you a reminder in a second. There is a BSA committee that has been formed here,
The BAC.
or BAC, sorry.
Okay. Yes, so we have a BSA club.
No, a parent
Yes. a bilingual advisory committee.
Yes, thank you.
And we actually have a parent president, and we're excited about that, so we don't have any numbers yet. So she will be here on I met the parent today, actually, and she will be here on the her name is Beatrice Ramos. She will be here on the 21st to set up and hopefully with the parents.
Oh, yes, in the,
In the Zoom, yes.
And I offered if they wanted to start giving reports, they could do that too. So, and then just a reminder, everyone, Green and Gold Gala, May 6th. If you have anything to donate, talk to Laura. And those are all my announcements.
And it's March, which is Women's History Month, where it's celebrated, and so kudos to all the wonderful women in this room, and those who identify as such, who have gone above and beyond to make our world a better place, especially Lake Tech, so.
and was there one more, I wanted to ask Michelle, was there one more big thing that they were gonna do for?
Yes, so they are, right now, it was supposed to be in March.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They were trying to have a celebration and, but,
It's the
Right now.
50th anniversary of women being allowed at like.
correct. And right now, that's being pushed, and we're trying to do it instead in June.
Okay.
And she'd be working with a few organizations inside of our building so that we can pull off, a meaningful celebration. But right now, we can't do anything, so we're just waiting.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you can.
Please do. I make a motion to adjourn. This meeting at 8:27.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?